Hi everyone, I hope you're well. I'm going to teach you how to use your digital teacher planner this year instead of our physical copy, so let's get started. Okay, so our first step is actually to get our teacher planner on from our emails into GoodNotes. So to do this, what you need to do is open up your emails. You should find an email from myself, which is called Teacher Planner 2021, with the GoodNotes file attached, and it's the same email that you found this video on. So what you want to do is click on Teacher Planner GoodNotes, and it'll pop up with the screen. And what you need to do is scroll across, and if you've got GoodNotes installed, there'll be one called Copy to GoodNotes. If you click on Copy to GoodNotes, it will take it straight to your GoodNotes, and it'll ask you where you'd want to import the document. So I'm going to import it here in my main area. So what I need to do is click Import, and it'll be added, and it'll open straight into your teacher planner. It'll take a few seconds to load, and there we go. So here's the new teacher planner. So if you want to flick through the pages, all you need to do is flick the screen from the right to the left, and you will access each of the pages. Now if you don't like it this way, you can change it so that you can scroll them down. If you click on the three dots in the top right corner, it'll ask you how you'd like to change the scrolling direction. So currently I've got it as horizontal. I can change this to vertical. Now by changing that, it means if I scroll my finger from bottom to top, it will scroll through each of the pages. Now on the top left hand side, you have four squares next to each other. If you click on there, it will show you the overview. So it'll show you all the thumbnails of each of the web pages, of each of the pages that are included in your planner. So we've got the main cover, we've got the school rules in terms of guidance, we've also got two different timetables, a 3-lesson and a 5-lesson timetable. I've also included the homework timetable, which will be the homework timetable we'll be using next year. It's the same one as last year, so it'll be familiar to that. I've also included the timings of the day for the CVAP plan. I've included the school site, so all the one-way systems. Just be aware that both those two things could change at any point, but we'll get notified of that. It won't automatically change on your planner, just to make you aware. There's also passwords and websites where you can write down any passwords to any key websites that you use. Just be mindful of that. Obviously, if a student gets access to your iPad, they will possibly get access to your passwords that you've written here. There's also a section there for where you can write your useful telephone numbers, your to-do list, your notes section, and I've also included the current term times. And then after that section, you've got your lesson plan. Now, I've included 212 pages, so that's plenty of lesson plans where you can fill them in. You should be familiar with those because they're actually very similar to the ones that we currently already used. And then you'll find right at the back, you've got two sections called your Mark Book Assessment and Mark Book Homework, where you can write any marks that students have achieved. You can also add extra pages, and I'll show you how to use that as well. So, next thing I want to show you is there's various different things you can do with actually this section here. So, just scrolling all the way back to the top. Now, in the favourite section, you can actually create different sections of this document which you feel are key things that you're going to be looking back at. So, for example, if you're going to be looking at your 3-lesson timetable, right at the top of just that thumbnail, there's a little tag. If you press on that tag, that favourites it. Now, if you click on your favourite section, you should find that page now appears in. This will actually appear in your actual GoodNotes app as well, in the favourite section, which I'll show you later on. So if you can remember that I've just favorited the 3-lesson timetable, I'll show you a little later on where that appears up. But you also have a section called Outline. Now this will allow you to jump to various different sections nice and quickly. So for example, if you wanted to jump to your to-dos, just click on Outlines and then click on To-Dos, and it will take you straight to that section there. You can still scroll through like you could before. Now I'm just going to leave it on this page here with my passwords page, where I can create my own passwords for various different websites. And I'm going to exit out of GoodNotes by just clicking on the arrow at the back. Now the next time I open up my teacher planner, it will load straight back into that last page that I had. So it's quite convenient. If you're on your lesson planner page, it'll always remember what page you were on last. Now if I go back, and I'll show you where the favourites is, down at the bottom on the right hand side, you have a tab called Favorites. If you click on there, you'll actually pop up straight into your favorite section. Now, you won't have these various different ones that I've created. These are just various different ones where I've been creating my department meetings and year team meetings and so on and so on, in a section where I keep all my CPD notes. And if you can remember, I created that 3-lesson timetable page as a favourite, and that's where it's appeared up. And if I click on there, it goes straight back into that page on the document. That will now remember that page in your document, so it won't take you back to where you originally saved it off at. So you'll probably use the tab at the top or outline or thumbnail to get to where you want to go to nice and quickly. Now, on your lesson timetable, lesson plan file, I've purposely made it with 5 periods. The reason why I've made it with 5 periods is because we could, at any point, depending on what phase we're in, switch back into a 5-lesson phase or regular timetable instead of the 3-lesson phase. Now, it's still quite convenient because you can actually use one for form time and one for end zone as well. Now, right at the bottom of that page, I've just included a little reminder for you. This is something that's going to be happening in September, which you'll hear more from Mrs. Skelding. It's just a reminder to ensure that you've written your lesson title in your Firefly app on the planner page, but you'll hear more about that later on from Mr. Skelding. Now, there are various different things that are really beneficial with using a digital lesson planner than actually using your regular lesson planner, and there are some real nice conveniences. So I'm just on one of my pages, I'm just going to write a little title. So I've wrote sequences. Now I'm hoping if I've written this nice and clearly and nice and legible that the GoodNotes app actually understands what I've written, because if I go to some other page, doesn't matter where I am, let's say I go all the way back to the home page, there is actually a little search bar you can use. Now if you look at the top by the 4 squares, there's a little magnifying glass. If you press on there, you can actually search for various different things within that document. So if I type in sequences, and it will even recognize your handwritten writing, it will actually find that thing that you've written. Now in this case, my writing hasn't been nice and clear, so it hasn't quite understood what I've written, but it'll actually look in any part of the document. So if I've typed in mark book, it'll actually go to anywhere it can see marks, and it will find all the various different sections of where we've written mark book. Okay, and it's appeared up in the outline for this case. Okay, but it will find any handwritten notes you've written. You just have to make sure your writing is nice and clear. Now the next thing I'm going to show you is that you can duplicate pages so that you can have more pages. So in the assessment section, if you notice, I've created 6 pages where you can type your assessment marks for students. However, for some teachers they teach more than 6 classes. Now therefore we'd need more assessment pages. Now if you go on any of these assessment pages and if you click on the little down arrow, there is a section where you can either add a page after, add a page before, which you'll have to create of your own, whatever you would like, duplicate a page, add this page to the outline so it'll actually pop in the outline section. You can export a page so you can actually send this as a PDF to somebody else, or you can open it up in a new window so it'll appear in dual screen, or you can delete the page. Now in this case, as I said, I wanted to duplicate the page so I can create another page of it. I'll just click on duplicate and it'll just automatically just create another duplicate. If you did want to just remove it, just click on the down arrow and click move to trash and it will just go straight away. Now if you want to create an extra page after this, just click on add a page after, and it will ask you what kind of template or what kind of page you would like to create. You can import pages, so if you click on import, it'll take you to this page here. Now if I click on locations, these are the various different areas where I can actually include files from. Now if you notice on mine, I don't have the OneDrive, and we use the OneDrive. So if I click on the 3 arrows at the top and click edit, there's OneDrive, and I'll just flick the toggle so that it's on. In some iPads they're already automatically on. Now I can click on OneDrive, and then in the file section I can find any of my notes that I've created or anything that I've created in my OneDrive section. So you can add pages. Now it's important to note I couldn't add this timetable document because it is a Word document. It doesn't understand Word documents. They have to be in PDF format, hence why in this case it's trying to paste it in, but it's pasted in on 2 pages. So your best bet is to just paste in PDFs. In this case I'll just delete these pages. Now there's just one more thing I wanted to show you. Now GoodNotes does have a lot more features than what I'm actually explaining. You can actually find really good helpful YouTube videos on GoodNotes. This is GoodNotes 5, so you will find a lot of really helpful useful videos on there which actually tell you how to do the various different drawings and so on, how people create their own pages and so on. Now I just want to show you one other feature that GoodNotes has, so I'll just take us back to our site plan. Now you can zoom in, you can zoom out, just use 2 fingers to zoom in and zoom out. Now if you wanted to send this one page to somebody else, you can quite easily. If you notice at the top we've got the export button. If you press this button here, you can actually export a page, you can export the whole document, it's entirely up to you. Just click export this page and then you've got a choice. You can either send a PDF or a photo of it or an actual GoodNotes file. Now if you want to send a PDF, just click PDF, export, and then it'll ask you where you'd like to export this. So you can actually take this straight to email and then send this as an email to somebody else. So if you're, for example, absent, you can actually just send an overline of the lessons that you're planning as a PDF of that one page. And just one final thing for me to say, if you have any issues regarding GoodNotes 5 or your teacher planner, by all means just send me an email and I'll respond as soon as I can. Happy holidays.